Good morning friends, myself Professor Tavul Chandrana, and we are learn a unit number 7 of transaction processing in our database management system video lecture series. Guys, we are learning so many things on unit number 7, and in my previous video lecture we have learned two most important aspects in a transaction processing. As we discussed on a previous thing, we will learn what is a recoverability, and a second way we will learn what is cascadeless schedule. I hope you are remember that what is a cascade rollback and how to remove a cascade rollback with help of cascadeless schedule. If your transactions or a schedule have a cascadeless schedule, then you can save so many time which are wasting in a rollback of cascade. So guys, in today's video lecture we are discussing some another stuffs on a unit number 7 known as concurrency control, lock-based control, and two-phase locking protocol. So in today's video lecture we are discussing most important point on unit number 7 known as lock-based protocol or two-phase locking protocol. Guys, it is really important to learn on a practical thing as well as on a theoretical point of view in form of exam two-phase locking protocol. So guys, we will start with today's video lecture known as concurrency control. The system must control the interactions among the concurrency transactions, and now I think you know very well what is a concurrent transaction. This control is achieved through one of the concurrency control scheme which we are studying in today's video lecture. The concurrency control schemes are based on a serializability property. As we discussed two concurrently serializability as previously in my lecture. First one is concurrent serializability and next one is view serializability. If you have doubt regarding any of the two, please refer my previous video. So you can easily identify that what is a concurrent schedule or concurrency serializability and which one is a part of view serializability. Because in this particular lecture we just give you the identifications of concurrency control. If you have a doubt regarding based on a serializability, then please refer my previous video. Different type of protocols, or we can say scheme, used to control a concurrent executions of a transactions. Means if you perform so many transactions on a serializable way, then we are discussing a two different concept, concurrency serializability and a view serializability. Now we will discuss how to control a concurrency control with help of lock-based protocol and timestamp based protocol. Start with the lock-based protocol. We will learn what is a lock, then we are performing how to perform a locking on a particular transaction and save a particular time as well as cascading rollback. To ensure a serializability, it is required that a data item should be accessed in a mutual exclusive manner. If one of the transactions is accessing a data item, no other transactions can modify that data item. Guys, it is really important to learn what is a lock-based protocol. जो कोई एक ट्रांजेक्शन कोई एक डेटा आइटम सेट परफॉर्म करતું હશે અથવા તો એની ઉપર કોઈ ટ્રાન્ઝેક્શન્સ પરફોર્મ કરતું હશે તો બીજા કોઈ પણ ટ્રાન્ઝેક્શન એ પર્ટિક્યુલર ડેટા સેટ્સને મોડિફિકેશન્સ નહીં કરી શકે. જસ્ટ ફોકસ ઓન ઇટ. If one transaction is accessing a data item, no other transactions can modify the data item. Means if some of the transactions can read the data item, they can. But if they want to modify it, they can't modify till some of the transaction not release the particular data item. So it is nothing but the lock-based protocol. To implement this, requirements of locks are used. So now we will study what are the different types of lock is available. A transaction is allowed to access a data item only if it is currently holding a lock on them items. Because as a previously we see that if one of the transaction accessing a data item, then no another transactions can modify the particular data items. So first, what is a lock? There are the two different types. First one is a shared mode lock. If a transactions Ti has obtained a shared mode lock on item Q, then Ti can read but cannot write a Q. It is denoted by the S. પહેલા જ લોકના ટાઈપમાં આપણે એવું કહી શકીએ કે એને શેર્ડ મોડ લોક શું કામ કીધું છે? નામ ઇટસેલ્ફ સજેસ્ટ કે શેર મોડ લોક મીન્સ જો કોઈ ટ્રાન્ઝેક્શન્સ ટીઆઈ એણે કોઈ ડેટા આઇટમ ક્યુ ઉપર શેર મોડ લોક એપ્લાય કર્યો છે તો એ પર્ટિક્યુલર ડેટા આઇટમ્સને રીડ કરી શકશે, એના ઉપર રાઇટ પરફોર્મ નહીં કરી શકે. અને એને આપણે શેનાથી ડિફાઇન કરશું? કેપિટલ એસ થી. What was the second lock? It is known as the exclusive lock. I think same thing but in form of different case. If a transaction Ti has obtained an exclusive mode lock on item Q, then Ti can read and also write Q, and it is denoted by X. So I think it's really easy to understand that what are the different types of lock. One is shared mode lock and second one is exclusive lock. If you found that any of the transactions perform the shared lock, then they're not performing a write operation, they just read a data. But in a particular transaction, if you found a capital X, then they can perform any of the transactions, maybe read or maybe write. So a transactions can unlock a data item Q by unlock Q instructions, because after unlocking the particular data item, another transactions only perform a read or write operations. Like if S, we can say a shared lock, then shared lock perform true, because on shared lock they are performing read operations, means they can't performing a write operations. So on a shared lock mode, if some of the perform shared lock, then they can some another transaction can access this data, but they can't performing exclusive mode. But on an exclusive mode, if some of the perform shared lock, then they can't perform exclusive, as well as if some perform the transaction exclusive lock, then there some another transaction never perform any of the things. This matrix shows that how a shared lock and exclusive lock will be performed. આ મેટ્રિક્સ ઉપરથી આપણે ઇઝીલી આઈડેન્ટિફાઈ કરી શકીએ. લાઈક આ ટ્રાન્ઝેક્શન છે ટીઆઈ, આ ટ્રાન્ઝેક્શન છે ટીજે. લાઈક ટીઆઈમાં જો આપણે શેડ લોક ડિફાઇન કરીએ છીએ તો ટીજેમાં શેડ લોક ડિફાઇન કરી શકીએ છીએ. બટ ટીઆઈમાં જો એક્સક્લુઝિવ લોક ડિફાઇન કરેલો હોય તો એમાં જે પણ ડેટા આઇટમ્સ છે એ ટીજે પરફોર્મ નહીં કરી શકે. સેમ વે ટીઆઈની અંદર જો આપણે શેડ લોક ડિફાઇન કર્યું છે તો ટીજેની અંદર તમે શેડ લોક ડિફાઇન કરી શકો છો. સેમ વે જો ટીજેની અંદર એક્સક્લુઝિવ લોક ડિફાઇન કર્યો છે તો ટીઆઈની અંદર આપણે શેડ લોક ડિફાઇન ન કરી શકીએ. સેમ વે ટીજેની અંદર જો એક્સક્લુઝિવ લોક ડિફાઇન કરેલો છે તો ટીઆઈની અંદર આપણે એક્સક્લુઝિવ લોક ડિફાઇન ન કરી શકીએ. નાઉ આઈ થિંક યુ આર ક્લિયર what is the matrix and how we understand a shared lock and exclusive lock based on this matrix. Now we see the example. A transaction display the total amount of money in account A and account B. So start with the lock S is nothing but the shared. They can easily read data A. So read A, then unlock A, because if you are unlocking the data A, then and there transaction B will be performed on same data item. Then we just display the total amount. So we just read data and display the account information. So we not required to perform exclusive lock. Then lock S on transaction B, or we can say account number B, then read B, then unlock B and display A plus B. So there are nothing requirement about exclusive lock, because we not to modify any kind of transaction on any of the account. We just read it a particular account and display on a screen. Each transaction in the system should follow a set of rules called a locking protocol, indicating when a transactions may be locked and unlock each of data item. Means if you performing any locking protocol, then you must be follow some of the rules which should be mentioned in a locking protocol. Now we will see what is a granting of locks. When a transaction requests a lock on a data item in a particular mode and no another transaction has lock on the same data item in a conflict mode, the lock can be granted. Means in a particular transaction, if someone to access a data for the read and write both the way, then they can request to a particular lock. But first they can verify that this particular data item set some another transaction performing or not. If some another transaction never perform on the same data item, then they can provide a granting of locks. આપણે ઇઝીલી અન્ડરસ્ટેન્ડ કરી શકીએ છીએ વોટ ઇઝ અ ગ્રાન્ટિંગ લોક. જો આપણે કોઈ ડેટા આઇટમ ક્યુને રીડ કરવું હોય અથવા તો રાઇટ કરવું હોય ટીઆઈ ટ્રાન્ઝેક્શન્સના બેઝ ઉપર, તો આપણે રિક્વેસ્ટ કરશું લોકને ગ્રાન્ટ કરવા માટે ડેટાબેઝ ઉપર. ડેટાબેઝ સૌથી પહેલાં વેરીફાઈ કરશે કે ડેટા આઇટમ ક્યુ સેટ બીજું કોઈ ટ્રાન્ઝેક્શન્સ રીડ કે રાઇટ ઓપરેશન્સ પરફોર્મ નથી કરતું ને. જો કોઈ ઓપરેશન્સ પરફોર્મ નહીં થતા હોય ક્યુ ડેટા આઇટમ સેટ ઉપર, તો ડેટાબેઝ તમને એટલે કે ટીઆઈ ટ્રાન્ઝેક્શન્સને લોક ગ્રાન્ટ કરવાની પરમિશન્સ આપી દેશે. Starvations of a transactions can be avoided by granting lock in the following manner. And what is the starvation? Starvation is nothing but to create cycling according to the locking protocol. There is no another transaction holding a lock on Q in a mode that conflict with the M. As a previous we'll discuss, if some of the hold a data Q item, then you database not provide or not granting your lock request. Second, there is no other transaction that is writing on a lock Q and that made its lock request before TI. If a transactions never perform on data item Q on a particular time, and if your transactions generate the request for granting a lock, then they can easily provide the permission from the database. It is known as a starvations of transaction. Two-phase locking protocol. Please guys, you must be focused on this protocol because it is really important to understand on a practical point of view as well as on a theoretical concept. This protocol requires that each transaction issue a lock and unlock request in a two-phase, because the name itself suggests that it is known as a two-phase locking protocol. Before we'll start with the two-phase, I think you just remind that there are the two different mode of lock, shared lock and exclusive lock. If your transactions apply shared lock, then another transactions read the data. If you are performing an exclusive lock, then some another transactions never perform read and write data before unlocking this data item sets. First phase, it is nothing but a growing phase. In this phase, a transactions may obtain a locks but may not release any lock. Means if some of the transactions require to granting a lock, it's known as in a growing phase. Means some transactions never release any kind of locking in this particular phase. And what is the second phase? It is nothing but a shrinking phase. In this phase, a transactions may release a lock but may not obtain any new locks. So I think you are now clear what is a growing phase and what is shrinking phase. જો કોઈ ટ્રાન્ઝેક્શન ગ્રોઈંગ ફેઝમાં છે એનો મિનિંગ કે ડેટા આઇટમ સેટ્સ ઉપર એ લોક એક્સેપ્ટ કરી શકે છે, કોઈ ડેટા આઇટમ સેટને અનલોક નથી કરી શકતું. અને વોટ ઇઝ શ્રિંકિંગ ફેઝ? એમાં પર્ટિક્યુલર ટ્રાન્ઝેક્શન લોકને રિલીઝ કરી શકે છે, નવું લોક ઓબ્ટેન નથી કરી શકતું. એન્ડ ઇન ધ સેકન્ડ થિંગ, એની ઓફ ધ transaction, it is start with the growing phase. The transaction acquiring laws as its requirement. Means if some of the transactions require to lock a data item Q, then it is first initiate with the granting request to a database for a data item Q set. It is nothing but a growing phase. Once a transaction release a lock, which is part of shrinking phase, it enters in a shrinking phase and it cannot issue a more lock request. Means we can easily say that if we are performing complete transactions on particular data set, then we can release this data item. So some another transaction we can use it. So we can say that if any transaction will start with the growing phase, they can easily terminate it with shrinking phase after completions of all the operations. As a paragraph mentions, દરેક ટ્રાન્ઝેક્શન સ્ટાર્ટ થશે ગ્રોઈંગ ફેઝમાં. મીન્સ ટ્રાન્ઝેક્શન ઇનિશિયેટ થશે એટલે સૌથી પહેલાં એ ગ્રાન્ટ પરમિશન્સ રિક્વેસ્ટ કરશે ડેટાબેઝ પાસેથી, ડેટાબેઝ વેરીફાઈ કરશે બેઝ ઓન અ સ્ટાર્વેશન રિક્વેસ્ટ. જો એ પર્ટિક્યુલર ડેટા આઇટમ સેટ્સ કોઈ લોક નહીં કરી હોય તો એ તમને પરમિશન્સ આપશે એ પર્ટિક્યુલર ડેટા આઇટમ સેટને રીડ અને રાઇટ કરવાની. તમે ગ્રોઈંગ ફેઝમાં છો એનો મિનિંગ કે તમે લોક ડિફાઇન કરી શકો છો, લોક રિલીઝ નથી કરી શકતા. તમારા બધા જ ઓપરેશન્સ એ પર્ટિક્યુલર ડેટા આઇટમ સેટ્સના કમ્પ્લીટ થઈ જાય છે તો હવે તમે એ પર્ટિક્યુલર લોકને રિલીઝ કરો છો. જ્યારે તમે લોકને રિલીઝ કરો છો એનો મિનિંગ તમે શ્રિંકિંગ ફેઝમાં છો. And it is nothing but a two-phase locking protocol named growing phase and shrinking phase. Example, lock X is nothing but the exclusive lock, means a particular transaction may be read B or maybe a write B. So start with the first operation, read B. They can debited 50 rupees on a account B, then they can write a B. But we can't release this data item because we are completed all the transactions, then we can release the lock because we are now in growing phase. Now we are requesting to lock a particular transactions on A, then database provide the grant on lock A, they can perform an exclusive lock on A, then you can read your data, they can credited 50 rupees on account A, then final write of A. Means after performing all the operation on data item A and B, we are on a now shrinking phase. Then we are unlock the B and unlock the A. So it is nothing but the two-phase locking protocol. ફરી વખત રીડ કરી લઈએ. સૌથી પહેલાં આપણે ઇનિશિયલ કન્ડિશનમાં ગ્રોઈંગ ફેઝમાં છીએ, મીન્સ આપણે રિક્વેસ્ટ કરીએ છીએ ડેટાબેઝને કે તમે ડેટા આઇટમ બીને લોક કરવાની પરમિશન આપો. અત્યારના જો ડેટા આઇટમ બી અવેલેબલ નથી કોઈ પાસે તો એ તમને પરમિશન આપી દેશે અને તમે એક્સક્લુઝિવ મોડ ડિફાઇન કરેલો છે. મીન્સ તમે બીમાંથી ડેટા રીડ પણ કરી શકો છો અને બીમાં ડેટા રાઇટ પણ કરી શકો છો. ધીસ પર્ટિક્યુલર એક્ઝામ્પલ પરફોર્મ ઓલ ધ થિંગ્સ. ફર્સ્ટ તે ડેટા રીડ કરે છે, પછી એમાં 50 રૂપીસ ડેબિટ કરી અને ફાઇનલ રાઇટ પરફોર્મ કરે છે. હજી આપણે ગ્રોઈંગ ફેઝમાં છીએ કેમ કે આપણું ટ્રાન્ઝેક્શન્સ કમ્પ્લીટ નથી થયું. હવે આપણે શેની રિક્વેસ્ટ કરીએ છીએ? ડેટા આઇટમ એને લોક કરવાની. પર્ટિક્યુલર ડેટાબેઝ વેરીફાઈ કરશે, ડેટા આઇટમ એ કોઈ રીડ ના કરતો હોય તો એ તમને પરમિશન્સ આપશે. પરમિશન્સ મળી જાય છે પછી તમે એને એક્સક્લુઝિવ લોક ડિફાઇન કરો છો, મીન્સ તમે રીડ પણ કરી શકો છો અને રાઇટ પણ કરી શકો છો. પરમિશન્સ મળી ગયા પછી તમે ડેટા આઇટમ સેટ્સ રીડ કરો છો, એમાં 50 રૂપીસ ક્રેડિટ કરાવો છો અને ફાઇનલ રાઇટ પરફોર્મ કરો છો ઓન ડેટા આઇટમ એ. હવે તમારા બધા જ ટ્રાન્ઝેક્શન્સ પૂરા થઈ ગયા છે, પર્ટિક્યુલર શિડ્યુલ કમ્પ્લીટ થઈ ગયું છે, એટલે હવે તમે ગ્રોઈંગ ફેઝમાંથી શ્રિંકિંગ ફેઝમાં આવો છો. શું પરફોર્મ કરેલું છે? આપણે બે લોકની રિક્વેસ્ટ કરી હતી. ડેટા આઇટમ બી પણ લોક છે, ડેટા આઇટમ એ પણ લોક છે. તો શ્રિંકિંગ ફેઝમાં આપણે બે ડેટા આઇટમ બી અને એને અનલોક કરવા પડશે, જેનાથી કોઈ બીજું શિડ્યુલ રીડ કરી શકે અથવા તો રાઇટ કરી શકે. સો it is the example to learn how a two-phase locking protocol is work. I hope you are clear how the two-phase locking is work. Now we will study a different category of two-phase locking. In this today's video lecture, we just identify the different categories. On my next video lecture, we are study on a depth with the help of example. Now that we are familiar with what is two-phase locking in our previous example, and the basic rules which should be followed with the ensure serializability. Moreover, we came across the problems with the 2PL, cascading abort and deadlock, because if we are not release the lock, then another transactions can't read this particular data item set. It is nothing but the deadlock. So it is the problem which should be defined on a two-phase locking. Now we turn towards the enhancements made on a two-phase lock, which try to make a protocol near errors free. Means if there are the problem to find a cascading aborts and deadlock in a two-phase locking, then we need to update and we need to try to remove as much as possible in two-phase locking with the help of some another enhancement. Briefly, we allow some modifications on a two-phase locking to improve it, because if you want to know some of the disadvantage, then we can perform some of the another operation and try to make some advanced versions. There are the three category which is part of two-phase locking. First one, we are studying a strict two-phase locking. Second one is rigorous two-phase locking, and the third one on a conservative two-phase locking. So guys, we just discuss a different category of two-phase locking, or we can define a category of two-phase locking in today's video lecture. In my next lecture, we are discussing all the three different category of two-phase locking with the example. So today we will stop this video lecture on to list out a different category of two-phase locking. I hope you are understand which we are discussing. Today's video lecture is nothing too known as concurrency control with a protocol, or we can say two-phase locking, as well as timestamp based protocol and two-phase protocol. So guys, today we will stop with this three different category of two-phase locking protocol. Thank you so much.